It's time for the Atlanta Falcons.
The last team in the NFC South.
With a surprisingly 4-12 record.
Yeah, they were 4-12, but they had some games that were inches away from being a win.
I feel like we say this about them every year. Mm-hmm.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde.
And ever since they lost that Super Bowl,
they haven't been the same.
They haven't seemed to find that same rhythm.
They're so back and forth in the season.
When they made that Super Bowl.
Sometimes they'll win a few games in a row, and then you're like, oh, man, the Falcons are... And then
they're coming back.
And then, boom, they start losing.
So what were they ranked on offense?
Go ahead.
16th ranked offense last year, 19th ranked defense. So they're almost dead middle.
Middle of the pack. Mm-hmm.
So as far as the offseason, what's the... Key departures, Alex Mack.
That's a big one.
Safety, Keanu Neal.
2 safeties, Keanu Neal.
And Ricardo Allen.
Really, acquisitions, they got Mike Davis.
Running back.
He's a decent running back.
2-year, $5 million.
Not big deal. I mean, obviously with Atlanta, the big thing right now was going to be their pick.
Yeah.
Everybody's calling about that pick.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, are they going to take Justin Fields if he's there? I don't think it's the smart thing to do.
Right.
You got Kyle Pitts right there.
I would take Pitts.
There's a lot of ways you could go, but I would, or you could go Jamar Chase. You have Julio Jones, Jamar Chase, Calvin Ridley.
You could have stacked offense.
But I mean, I would go Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
They need that.
You're definitely going to go off.
But if somebody's going to give you a ton of picks, I don't know. I mean, it'd be tempting.
Same thing that we just said about Carolina. Somebody could call about this number 4 and just throw the absolute kitchen sink at them. You're going to take the 15 plus next year's first. You're going to take that package.
You're probably looking at this year's first, next year's first,
and
probably
maybe
a second
or a third even mixed in.
Or even a player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, honestly, I think the best thing they could do is I would take Pitts here if he's there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would worry about a quarterback down the road. Because
you still got Matt Ryan.
In, Julio might be there.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have Ridley. You're going to have Pitts. You got enough weapons on offense. Really, that's what I would do.
Right.
They could even swing back and take one of these developmental quarterbacks. I mean, in the third or something. Right. You get kind of trashed.
I've said it before. Dak was a 4th rounder. Romo was undrafted.
Yeah.
Brady was a 6th rounder. You do not have to get your quarterback in the first round. Yeah. You get a guy that you like in a mid-round that you can develop and work with.
Because see,
sometimes it works out.
It seems like every year teams just like trade up for these quarterbacks,
and then they never work out.
None of them work out.
Well, you don't have the team around them.
Right. You don't have. You're putting a top-tier college quarterback onto one of the worst teams in the NFL. What do you think is going to happen?
But to me, with the Falcons, they're 4-12, but I don't think that really reflects
the roster.
Their team.
Right, their roster is a lot more talented than.
So I think if you give up and start over with a quarterback at this point with the roster you got, while you got Julio, and Calvin Ridley, I don't think you start over right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think you try to go for it. I think you got a couple more years you can try to go for it.
At least, or next year, like even they get a quarterback later.
I mean, if you go 4-12 again this year, maybe you should look for another quarterback.
Right, then you go. As far as the overall draft capital, they've got obviously the number 4 overall, and then they've got a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 3 5ths, and 2 6ths. So 9 picks overall.
So they could trade up for one of those.
So yeah, they definitely have some capital. Just have to see what they do.
Where do you think they're going to be next year?
I think if they get Pitts, I think their offense could be top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see them either going 2nd or 3rd. I know that's strange, but going from 4-12
right.
But
we also said their roster isn't really reflective of this 4-12 record.
I could see that.
They've lost too many close games, so I think if you got that offense with Pitts,
I think they'll go at least 8 or 9 wins.
I'm going to say 8 or 9 wins as well. I'm going to say that just to be technical, because I said Buccaneers, Carolina, and then I had the Saints, and I'm going to give them 4th, but I could see this being a battle for 2nd place. Mm-hmm. I think the Buccaneers are the clear cut,
and then
everyone else is kind of fighting for 2nd.
I can see that.
So I think that's all we have for the Atlanta Falcons.
That's it for the Atlanta Falcons.